Biohazard 1.5 has always been one of the greatest mysteries in the history of survival horror. A nearly complete version of what was supposed to become Resident Evil 2, suddenly canceled and buried by Capcom in 1997. For decades, fans only had a handful of screenshots, some concept art, and fragments of developer memories. Yet the legend never died. The idea of a darker, grittier, more experimental version of Resident Evil continued to live on. And today, thanks to dedicated fans, the spirit of that abandoned project survives through one of the most fascinating community efforts ever made, the MZD mod. With the latest update released on January 25th, 2025, this project once again takes a major step forward. In this video, we're diving deeply into what has changed, what has been improved, what still remains unfinished, and why Biohazard 1.5 continues to captivate fans nearly 3 decades later. To understand why this update matters, we have to remember what Biohazard 1.5 represented. It wasn't just an early version of Resident Evil 2, it was a completely different vision. It had a unique atmosphere, a different art direction, different characters, and even a different interpretation of Raccoon City itself. Compared to the final Resident Evil 2 that released in 1998, the world of 1.5 was dirtier, more industrial, and far more grounded in a sense of decay. Enemies behaved differently, zombies were more animalistic, and the police station looked more like an actual workplace than a gothic museum. Fans often describe 1.5 as the alternate universe of Resident Evil, a darker road the franchise could have taken but didn't. And that's exactly why the project remains so beloved. It shows us what might have been. The MZD mod is the community's attempt to reconstruct this lost game using the leaked build as a foundation. But the leaked build was extremely incomplete, only around 40% finished. Many rooms were empty, animations were missing, enemies were broken, and crucial systems like inventory, storage, and saving didn't function. Over the years, various modders and programmers have attempted to restore, rebuild, or complete the game. But the MZD mod stands out because it aims not only to fix the broken pieces, but to preserve the authentic feel and design philosophy of the original developers. It's not a remake, it's not a reinterpretation, it's an attempt to faithfully resurrect a lost piece of gaming history. The 25th of January 2025 update significantly improves this restoration. One of the biggest changes is that the mod no longer requires users to apply patches manually. Previous versions required additional Xdelta patches, extra files, and a complicated setup process. Now, the mod is bundled as a cleaner, easier to use package. This may seem like a small detail, but for many players, it removes a major barrier and allows more people than ever to experience Biohazard 1.5 inches its most complete form. Another major addition in this update is the enhancement of cutscenes, including a newly improved introduction sequence. The previous builds had placeholder cinematics or incomplete animations, but the new intro gives the mod a more cinematic identity. It helps the game feel like something closer to a finished product rather than a collection of prototypes stitched together. The intro sets the tone, emphasizing the gritty, industrial horror that defined the original 1.5 direction. This updated presentation goes a long way toward making the project feel alive again. One of the most surprising and exciting additions in this update is the ability to play as Marvin in the factory area. Marvin Branagh is one of the most beloved side characters in Resident Evil 2, and early development materials suggested he might have had a bigger role in Biohazard 1.5's original design. The MZD team has revived that idea by allowing Marvin to be playable in specific sections. This not only adds variety, but also gives fans a glimpse into the alternate narrative arcs that may have existed in the developers' minds during the creation of the discarded 1.5 concept. Along with these additions, the update includes a set of optional patches available in the extra content folder. These patches allow players to customize the animation style, including restoring the original leaked animations, enabling RE2 style animations, or mixing different styles. Players can now tailor their experience depending on whether they prefer authenticity or smoother gameplay. These customizable layers reinforce the project's dedication to preservation while giving players control over how they want to explore the lost game. Despite all the improvements, the mod still has limitations, and the development team is transparent about them. Some core systems remain incomplete. The save system still doesn't function, meaning players must rely on emulator save states. Item storage boxes are also non-functional, restricting inventory management. Some rooms still contain graphical glitches, unfinished geometry, or placeholder enemies. Certain zombie animations remain rough or incomplete, and some NPC behaviors are unfinished. But these issues are expected, given the state of the source material. The leaked build was never meant to be played from start to finish, and many parts existed only as rough prototypes. The MZD team has to reconstruct those missing pieces from scratch, blending historical accuracy with educated interpretation. Even with these shortcomings, the atmosphere of Biohazard 1.5 continues to shine through. The abandoned police station, with its dirtier walls and industrial hallways, feels colder and more grounded compared to the ornate, almost museum-like police station in the final Resident Evil 2. The zombies move differently, less predictable, more animal-like. The lighting is harsher. Many rooms rely on pure darkness rather than colored lighting filters, giving the entire game a raw, unrefined tension that fans of early survival horror crave. Every corner of the game carries a feeling of incompletion, but not in a bad way, more like a window into a parallel timeline where Resident Evil evolved in a much more brutal direction. Technically speaking, players will still encounter a mix of completed, restored, and partially functional rooms. Some areas feel nearly finished, with proper encounters and designed flow. Others are still experimental or contain placeholders. But that's part of the journey. Biohazard 1.5 was never a fully finished game, and any restoration effort must work within that reality. The MZD mod is both a museum project and a creative reconstruction. It preserves history, but also fills in the blanks where history has been lost forever. What makes Biohazard 1.5 so enduring is not just its rarity, but the story behind it. Capcom spent years developing a game that they ultimately decided wasn't good enough. They scrapped it and started over, creating the Resident Evil 2 we all know today. But the fact that this nearly complete game was thrown away gives it a mythical aura. It represents a turning point in the franchise, one where Capcom changed direction, refined their vision, and rewrote the future of Resident Evil. If Biohazard 1.5 had released as planned, the series might look completely different today. Different characters, different tone, different level design, different monsters, everything could have changed. And that's why fans continue to obsess over this lost version. The 25th of January 2025 update to the MZD mod is more than just another patch. It's another step forward in preserving a piece of gaming history that almost slipped away forever. It makes the game more playable, more stable, and more atmospheric. It enhances existing content while carefully inserting new interpretations of the original developer's ideas. It gives fans more reasons to explore, more reasons to speculate, and more reasons to appreciate the strange and fascinating world of Biohazard 1.5. For anyone interested in the origins of Resident Evil, or curious about alternate development timelines, this mod remains one of the most important fan projects ever created. It shows us the path not taken, a grittier, colder, more industrial survival horror experience that exists only through fragments and reconstruction. The excitement surrounding each update proves that the legacy of Biohazard 1.5 is still very much alive. And so, as we explore this latest version, we are reminded once again that this project is more than a game. It is a living archive, a tribute to creativity, a celebration of what could have been, and with every update, we get just a little bit closer to understanding the full vision of the game Capcom left behind. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share, comment, and like for more content like this. Your comments are important to us.